Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in again live today. Today is Monday, August 5th, here on the East Coast. It is currently 6 p.m. And thank you for watching Skill Building Monday Drawing Group here live with me, Jason Leeser. And welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where artists, tattooers, apprentices, and collectors, and the curious are all encouraged to join in these live streams, real world events to share and inspire and ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We beam out nearly every day, and with your help, have evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on demand tattoo and art shows that have all been receiving rave reviews. You can find Reinventing the Tattoo at www.reinventingthetattoo.com. You don't have to subscribe right away. We do offer three different options for you to try it out, so you can decide if you want a subscription or not. The three options to try it out: the first is a sample webinar from the Reinventing the Tattoo Canon, which gives you a kind of a sneak peek into what it's like to have a full Canon subscription. The second option is to get some free advice from Guy Aitchison about your unique goals. And the third option is to take a comprehensive tattoo history course from Jay Brown. I will say this in all honesty, being a tattoo history nerd, I absolutely love the tattoo history course. I think it's fascinating and really goes in to a lot of the nitty gritty history in this craft. At reinventingthetattoo.com, you can also find a full event schedule with weekly and special event live stream details. For example, if you wanted to jump in on a standard Monday drawing group, all you have to do is go to the events area, find the calendar, click on that Monday, and the link will be embedded right there in that event. As well, you can also find access to the Reinventing 24/7 channel, which has 13 different episodes going at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from any web enabled device. You can also find a whole host of professional development courses from over 20 world class tattooers, such as Bob Tyrell, BJ Betts, Andre Malcolm, all available for purchase, pay per view, all available at reinventingthetattoo.com. You can also find us on both of the app stores, the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, as well as our Reinventing the Tattoo YouTube channel, or Reinventing the Tattoo Roku channel, which is a lot like our Reinventing 24/7 channel. It's got 12 to 15 different episodes going at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can also find us at all of the major podcast directories such as Apple and Spotify. Or you can do what most people do and just do a quick browser search for Reinventing the Tattoo and you'll find it all. Pops right up, except for the book, which is still currently out of print. Those have become collectible items because no one is selling theirs anymore. I know I'm holding on to my one copy and I'm trying to get another copy as well. Once again, if this is working for you, please let us know in the comments and please tag a friend who loves tattoos. We have a number of special events coming up. The first is Hell City in Phoenix, Arizona. That will be August 22nd through 26th. We will be beaming out live from Phoenix, Arizona, and we have got an absolute incredible list of artists that will be tattooing live at Hell City, including Paul Booth, Mike Cole, Ty McEwen, Ron Earhart. Amber Joy will be there tattooing, D-Rock, Oak Adams, Anna Mia, Brian Geckel, Jimmy DeLessio, Pepe Carrere, Chris Mack, and of course, yours truly will all be in attendance and we will all be tattooing. Now is the time to book your appointments if you have not already. So please go ahead and do that. You can get there by going to Hell City, type that into your browser, and it will pop right up. The next live event that we will be broadcasting out from is the Paradise Tattoo Gathering, and that is October 24th through 27th in Hancock, Massachusetts. And we have an absolutely incredible lineup of artists that will be attending and presenting this year, including Jake Meeks, Kyle Olson, Renee Little, Mickey Schlick, Sandy McAndrew. Thea Duskin will be there presenting. Corey Ferguson will be there presenting. Steve Butcher will be there doing a seminar. Christina Christie will be in attendance. Gunnar will be there presenting. Anthony Tex, Russ Abbott, And quite a few more. Marcus Lenhard will be there. We just have that confirmed. So it is going to be an absolutely incredible weekend. It is not going to be an event that you want to miss out on. Tickets will be going on sale very soon. So please stay tuned for that. Would like to go through and thank some of our sponsors and some of the people that make these shows happen. Starting off with worldtattooevents.com, the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. As we know, living in a post pandemic era, there are still tattoo events and conventions that are getting rescheduled. So if you want to stay up to date on the latest, most up to date tattoo event or convention information coming to a city or town near you, maybe it's one you plan on visiting. Lord knows that's how I book all of my vacations. Take a look at worldtattooevents.com. Would also like to thank tattoonow.com, technology for tattooers, the leading edge in professional development, management, and digital tools for tattooers of all levels. They're 100% competitive with any type of CRM, mailing list, or scheduling software out there. So if you really want to get the digital tools that will help you streamline your booking process, to help you more efficiently get people in to fill your seat, take a look at tattoonow.com. They have been in the business of doing just that for over 20 years. Would also like to thank Guy Aitchison over at guyaitchison.com. He is the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo. Go to guyaitchison.com where you can pick up a copy of his Biomech Encyclopedia, some of his tutorial DVDs. I believe he still has a few custom coil machines for sale, as well as some fine art prints and the occasional oil painting, all for sale at guyaitchison.com. Would also like to say a very special thank you and shout out to Amy Nichols over at the Apprenticeship Diaries, one of my preferred resources to direct people to that are looking to get into the tattoo industry. If they are looking for more information about tattoo apprenticeships or how to become a tattoo apprentice, take a look at the Apprenticeship Diaries with Amy Nichols. You will not be disappointed at all. As always, we ask if you like today's show, please post a positive review on the channel, help us get the word out. If you would like to host a Reinventing the Tattoo event, become a sponsor of our community, or if you are looking for a fine art or a tattoo critique, please email management at reinventingthetattoo.com and we will get back to you as soon as we can. I am going to save that, and that will probably do that. Yep. And we do have a very special guest with us tonight, one of my biggest personal inspirations. We have Anthony Tex joining us. Oh, wrong button. Hold on. There we go. And he is right here.
How's it going?
How's it going?
Good, bud. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right. I'm just going to make you a full screen here for a minute. Awesome. Um, so we had you on a few months ago. I thought it was really awesome just to get to talk to you and pick your brain about a few things. You've done some traveling since then. You went to work at Gods of Ink. How was that, man? I mean, that's a crazy lineup.
I think just to be there in the room alone is pretty unreal. But yeah, like so I went the very first year just to attend and be at the show. I think that's what needs to happen more, I think. But luckily I was able to have a booth and tattoo this year, and fucking just unreal. Just to be around those people and the energy, the environment, craziest, busiest show. Mickey puts on a really good show, and I was just honored to be there.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. That's become a huge goal of mine, is to get to the level where I can get one of those invites one day, and
Mm-hmm.
I can be like, oh man, hey, this is, to me, Gods of Ink is like the World Cup of tattooing, right? You get some of the best people in every genre from all over the world. They're all there. They're all talking about the same thing. They're all enjoying the same thing. And, you get to see some of the best tattooing live in front of you.
Oh,
You
it's
know,
insane.
it is. When Mickey put on the London Tattoo Convention many years ago,
Yep.
um, right before COVID was, I think, the last one he did. To me, that was like a life altering experience. Just walking down there, looking down an aisle, and it's like a who's who of tattooing in
Oh,
one room. And then
it's
you
great.
go to the next room when you can't think it can get any better, and there's a whole other group of people that you never thought you would get to watch tattoo in person. It was
Oh, totally.
absolutely fascinating. I am going to try a different layout real quick. There we go. Cool. I just wanted to do like a little picture in picture down at the bottom. That way you weren't.
Just cut you right here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm.
Yeah. Okay,
Hi.
sweet.
Hi.
I don't know which way. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, over there. There we go.
Sweet.
Yeah. It was unbelievably influential.
Well, I think
I mean,
that's also where I first met you was at the London
yeah.
show. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because that
Um,
was what 2017,
had to have
18.
been, maybe it was 18.
Yeah. And
Maybe it
again,
was
lucky
18.
enough to actually, I had a booth there and was
Yeah.
tattooing with James, my father, and yeah, just insane. Just didn't feel like I was like, I'm not supposed to be here, but like stoked that I was.
A little bit of imposter syndrome going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all get it. We all do.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that it's the perfect opportunity to go around and get to talk to people. Like
Of
when I
course.
first got to talk to you, pick your brain a little bit and watch you work. I think you were actually tattooing a dragon on some guy's trap, if I remember correctly, or
Yeah.
coming up
Yeah.
over the deltoid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just watching your process and watching you work and just walking up to you, and I was terrified to just ask you questions. I was. Well, I'm very intimidated. I've loved your work
Well,
for a while.
everyone
Uh,
gets that. Oh,
yeah,
yeah, I think
exactly.
just to be able to just like get up, walk to someone, and just like try and shake their hand, and as you're shaking while shaking their hand,
Yeah,
I think it's good. Everyone needs to do that.
absolutely.
Hmm.
I think it's always important to kind of break that barrier to go through and introduce yourself, and just make that introduction, go through, take that initiative, and you'd be surprised what can happen.
Oh, of
Um,
course.
and it's to me, it's just always refreshing to hear that I'm not the only one that's like that. Like, oh, look, I don't know if I should be in this room. I'm taking up their air. I think they might need more of it, so I should probably go somewhere else now.
Oh, it's still like,
Uh,
even like Gods of Ankyo shaking hands with G Arrow to Philip
yeah.
Blue, Luke. I can say like it's insane. Like I'm just
Oh yeah.
like I'm this punk kid that's just trying to like, hey, how's it going? I love your shit. And then they're just like, who's this kid? It's
Right.
freaking out.
Yeah. Well, that was me. The first year I went to London, I got to Philip Blue had just released his Dragon Claw book. And
Mm,
I remember like, okay, cool. I'm going to show up like a half hour early. I'm going to be like one of the first people in line. And it was awesome. And I just remember standing there like, oh, this is the line, right? I'm good. Yeah, cool. Awesome.
yeah,
And then just shaking his hand after he signed my book and said hi and thanked him. And hopefully within the next couple of years, I'll be booking a trip to head out there and get tattooed by him.
oh, totally.
I've got a few friends of mine out in New Jersey that my one friend Pete's got a full bodysuit done by him. Allie's got her whole back done by him. Um, and talking to these guys about the story and about the trip, and it really does become more of a pilgrimage than anything.
Hmm.
To seek out an artist, to make the plans, to travel to where they are, to go through, to get a tattoo, especially more than once. Um, it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of time to do that. But I think it makes that tattoo even more special
Of
because
course.
you've really had to put that time, the effort, and the energy into it in order to get that kind of a product out of it.
Yeah, but you're also getting like a much more like a special experience in a way of like you're traveling, you're seeing the world, you're being educated, in so many different ways, but also you're seeking out something and someone that you look up to, you're inspired to. So even just like having non-tattooer clients that travel and go to conventions and want to get tattooed, like I think that's like the best thing you can possibly do. So when there's people that travel to me, like pretty honored or pretty grateful for that because they can travel anywhere if that was the case.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's one thing to like meet up with an artist at a show, but it's another thing to really kind of take the time, book the trip, travel out to the artist, make sure that you're meeting them in like their home studio. Um, I've done that more than a few times with more than a few people, and it's always refreshing to be able to do that. And I've had people do that with me as well. They'll fly out from California or Texas or Florida, just to come out to the studio to get a piece done. And
Hmm.
it's really a nice feeling when people are willing to put that kind of an effort into it.
Oh, of course.
Um, but you're right. You touched on something else. When you travel, even if it's to a convention or anything like that, you're learning a lot more about a lot of other things along the way,
Hmm.
right? You're
Yeah,
absorbing the culture, you're absorbing, all of the practices going on by all of the people around you. Well, you should be a little observant, especially if you're traveling outside the country, because
should be.
problems happen. Um, but it's you're constantly learning all of these things all the time, and that's personally why I love traveling. It's one of the wonderful things I love about
Absolutely.
this industry
Well, I
is
think
we get to travel.
there's also like so much more to tattooing than just the actual tattooing.
Yeah.
There's the people, places you get to see, experiences, or just connections. Yeah, you go
Hmm.
to Puerto Rico and make a connection. You're like a friend, and then like, oh, next thing you know, I'm in Costa Rica. Like
Right.
it's awesome. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's always amazing to me to see how the different regions of the world have an influence on different types of designs, their aesthetics, the way that they do things, and just the type of artwork that gets created.
Hmm.
It's always fascinating to me to see how everything kind of comes together to create a specific kind of look or a style. You can see, taking Japanese themed tattoos, for example, you can always tell someone that's more European influenced, people that are more traditional Japanese, people that are from the U.S. and the way that they do different Japanese style stuff. To me, after looking at it and studying it and researching it for so long, you can start to pick certain things apart to kind of identify the region of the world that that tattoo came from.
Yeah, totally.
Um, and it's always amazing to me.
But I think
Um,
like there's just so much to learn out there, and I want
yeah,
to try and take a little bit of everything everywhere I go, and just try to smorgasbord my tattoo together and see what comes up. I think
yeah,
it's experimenting or having fun or being art.
right.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a tattoo, but you're right. It's still art.
Yeah,
And you never
still
know
art.
unless you experiment, unless you try, unless
You gotta
you
take
know,
some risks.
you have to.
You might have to fuck up once in a while, but
Well, yeah. I mean, we all do that every now and then. It
oh
happens.
yeah,
We try not to, but things
you
happen,
know, that's the name of the game.
right? So on top of traveling a lot in the past few months, you're actually slated to teach a few seminars coming up.
Yeah,
We've got you're actually teaching at the Winnipeg Tattoo Show coming
yeah.
up this Thursday.
This Thursday. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And
so there's me, James Tex, Rob Nosworthy, uh, James Acro, and Marcus, who's actually going to be at Paradise, right? So it's
yep,
actually going to be. I know. I'm excited to see what they say too, because they're amazing artists with a lot of knowledge, and like to nerd out on their own little thing too. So I think I'm quite excited to hear what they have to say.
yeah. And for those that are interested, that might not be able to make it out to the Winnipeg show, those seminars will be live streamed. They will not be recorded for replay, but
That's
you
right.
can watch them live as they are going on.
Yep.
To access that, you can go to the Winnipeg Tattoo Convention Instagram, which is actually really easy to get to. Just type in Winnipeg Tattoo Convention, it'll pop right
Mhm.
up.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I'm really interested because you're teaching what, 3 different seminars this year
Yeah, so
so far?
this Thursday with myself, and then I'll be in Austin Tattoo Invitational, and me and James are doing a kind of collab seminar sort of thing. So we're actually going to be talking more about just dynamic composition, layouts on bodies, like tattoos that have a fit and form to any sort of position, a way of like accentuating if it's like muscular definition to how things like bend, a legs, it shouldn't just have like a face that's just going to warp, but it has to make sense. So it's that's what we like to try and play around with too, with composition perspective. Even I think that's there's so much that is involved with all that, so it's hard to just be like, oh, dynamic. There's so many aspects that bring all that together.
Right, right.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then also Paradise Gathering.
yep, yep.
That's right.
That one's gonna be, phenomenal. I can't wait for that.
Hmm.
I think I've already talked to one of the organizers about making sure that I have a seat reserved for that show. So for that presentation, um,
Sweet.
I'm presenting there as well. I'll be presenting. Well, I'll be helping out Russ Abbott with his presentation on Procreate. He's going to be doing a 3D modeling seminar. So, going over how to do different things with 3D models and how to display different things and work
Hmm.
with them to show three-dimensional layouts, because that's something that a lot of people have been asking. So, I'm going to be helping him out with his. He's going to be helping me out with mine.
I was thinking it's such a
So,
good. It's turned into such a more digital,
oh, yeah.
world now. Like I'm so unfamiliar with. I use 3 brushes on my Procreate, and that's all I do. Like I just I got the bare minimum, got the
Right.
basics. Yeah, of
Well, in all honesty, that's what you need. If you
course.
know what you need, then that's all that you need to use.
Hmm.
Um, Part of what I'll be going over in my seminar is some of the basics, how to go through, set up, different canvas sizes for everyday use, um, things of that nature. So, by all means, if you feel like jumping in, you're always welcome to.
No, absolutely.
If not, just hit me up, let me know, and I'll answer any questions you have.
Like I
Uh,
think I just figured out how to do the symmetry tool. So I think I
oh, okay.
gotta go a little bit
Okay.
further. I gotta go further.
There we go. There we
Yeah,
go. It's just playing around with it, little bits at a time, can
all
make
it
all the
is.
difference in the world. Um, yeah. So let me ask you, in regards to the seminars that you're teaching, um, and you've taught seminars in the past as well. This won't be your first go around. What are
Actually, I've only done one previous.
okay?
Me and artist friend Shane Ford from
Yep.
Edmonton, where we went to Austin last year. Actually, the way that we actually approached that one, trying to think of something different, while with also explaining how we kind of go about our tattooing and like larger scale, dynamic flow, all that kind of stuff. We wanted to actually have like a hypothetical client that came in and wanted a hawk and snake back piece, and and again we'd like draw it up, describe, even see the time lapse and kind of start, understanding where we would place things. But yeah, me and Shane, we didn't want to show each other to the actual seminar, just like surprise each other too. And I think it was like an hour or two before we're like, we should probably show each other now just in case they're actually the same. Luckily they weren't, so that's good.
Okay.
But yeah, that's kind of one thing too, and just like explaining, like big wing, flow, snake, and drew up a couple different ones. But then afterwards, went into just going over like back pieces, layouts, just how I build and compose my drawings.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. So, would you have any advice for people that are out there that are, might be curious as to, well, I've thought about doing a seminar, presenting something on, whatever topic. Do you have any advice for people along those lines, or?
Well, I think you
Um,
gotta, I don't, I always think you have to, present what you love, present what you feel confident with, of course. So yeah, I don't know. It's me speaking in front of a big crowd is, I'm unfamiliar and it's nerve wracking, that's for sure. So that, with that being that first one, I was just kind of shaking it out. Now I feel better ish. So it's definitely just a way of showing, showcasing who you are. And yeah, and it also could just be like a fear thing too. Like, get in front of a crowd and, you know, check that off the bucket list or something like that. Right. So, but I think and also for people to attend the seminars is also really important. Like I've attended many seminars, anywhere from painting actual seminars to Steve Moore seminar to places in Europe. So it's just any information you possibly get in a way of excelling and becoming your a better self and better drawer is definitely important.
Awesome. Well, that actually goes to answer my next question. Have you taken seminars in the past, and how have that had an influence on the work that you do today?
Well, I think yeah, I don't know. I just love tattooing, right? So as much as you as well. So I think understanding and getting to know, if it's portraits to black and gray to color anime, what Japanese traditional, whatever. I think it's good to understand everything rather than being so focused and here I do this one thing. This is it. I kind of want to see and I want to dip my toes in everything. Um, so having that is pretty important. at least for me in tattooing, because if there's one thing that I never thought I would do or put into my tattoos, but I just learned something. I'm like, oh, put that in here, and then next thing my wolves or dragons or whatever, they look different, and I'm stoked on it.
Yeah, that's so. Would you say that there's been one seminar that you've taken that's really had the most impact, or has it just been a combination of all of them that you've taken?
Uh, I can name a couple. Like I did, like Sean Barber to Sean Barber's painting, oil painting
Hmm.
seminar. I don't do oil painting, but that's something like I want to know more of, and he's amazing. To fucking yeah, Steve Morris seminar from Steve Moore from Vancouver. The way that he lays out his tattoos, his color theory, his just the risks and the boldness that he puts into his tattoos, I think is just it's doesn't make sense almost. But like the way that he breaks it down, explains it. He's a fantastic illustrator, so that's something I really get drawn to. Um, yeah, he's just and also he's just an amazing human being that's just so insightful, so much knowledge. Yeah, and that's also why I got tattooed by him,
Yeah,
because I want to see he's talking explaining all this, but I want to actually see how he's doing it. So I just do my sleeve.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
totally.
And I think there's a correlation there too because I don't necessarily know if people like Steve understand how what he teaches other people then gets trickled down through the line.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got tattooed by Steve, you wanted to understand his process, you wanted to understand his techniques. And then I wanted to understand how you did your stuff and you're learning from him. So it's like, trickle on down the line.
Totally.
Um, and it's fascinating just to be able to see an evolution there. It's one thing I'm always amazed at, even with your work and the perspectives that you put on things and how you can take something that's been drawn 1,000 times, but you can make it look so different in such a
Mm-hmm.
different way, whether it's changing the perspective or the lighting. Maybe it's just giving it a different expression or moving a certain part of like a dragon in a different way. It's always fascinating to me, just to see how you can take a concept and just
Mm-hmm.
draw it in a completely different way that no one's ever seen before. So it's
Yeah, well, I'm sure like even yourself too, you find that you kind of get into a bit of a rut where you're kind of like this. It's kind of all looking the same,
yeah,
in some way. So I try to like obviously get as far away from that as possible. So I think with that in mind, it's always try to play around with crazy angles that might, just drawing is obviously it's the fun part for me, and with tattooing, just because you're creating something that hopefully no one else has done or yourself. So doing a tiger 50 different ways is that's the challenge. That's what I like. But also just like growth. That's just want to keep going forward. But working next to my father James, to guest spots and people who worked in the shop back in the day. It's they've all had that same mentality. So for me, that's pretty just just drilled into my head.
yeah,
Just keep drawing, keep illustrating, keep trying new things, experimenting, realizing, oh, that doesn't work. But you can do a crazy gnarly angle of a tiger, but is it going to fit on the body? In a way, like that's where you have to kind of play around with some stuff too. But that's to me is drawing, illustrating. That's my job. That's insane.
right.
I love it.
Yeah, and your passion for it and your love for it is definitely reflected in the work that you do. Um,
I hope so.
trust me, it is. Well, having been a recipient of some of the work that you've done in the past,
Mm,
your passion, your enthusiasm, all of the effort you put into it, even if, it comes down to not knowing what you're doing until the night before, you know,
sometimes that's the
hey,
case.
sometimes it's what you need to do.
Yeah.
But your passion for it definitely shows through in the work that you do, how
Mm-hmm.
active you are in the community, how active you are with other artists. I mean, even just being on here today, it shows. It shows that you're willing to go through and help people out if they need help, and that you really do love this industry.
Yeah.
And it's always refreshing to see that from, especially from artists that I really look up to. And I know a lot
But I
of
think
other people that look up to you as well. So
yeah. Well, I think
it's
that even
awesome.
going back to like traveling and conventions and all that stuff too, it's like anytime I go to a convention, regardless if it's, Gods of Ink or whatever, I always leave with like a bit of a fire in my ass. I just like, oh, I gotta fucking try harder. I gotta try this. So I saw this sweet tattoo that someone did. I was like, fuck, I want to do something similar. That was a cool idea. Or yeah, just I feel way more motivated every time I come home, and
Yeah.
then just put pen to paper and just hopefully it's cool shit happens.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So going through my notes, we have a tendency to talk so much that it's
We just
hard
don't
to
get the
like,
notes.
yeah. Well, I try to always show up to these interviews and stuff like that prepared.
Mhm.
Just so that I can try to have somewhat of a way to stay on track with things. Otherwise, my squirrel brain is like, "Oh yeah, shiny. Tell us about this. Tell us about that. What's going on with this? What new projects are you working on? Give us an inside peek." Um, it's like there's a lot of different things and a lot of different directions my mind pulls me in whenever I'm talking to another artist about anything. So
Mhm.
I try to stay focused as I can. Doesn't always work, but I
We all get
do
distracted.
try. I do try.
You're
Um,
doing good. You're doing really good.
yeah. So back to your presentations. One of the questions that I actually had written down is there a topic that you feel like needs to be explored more in the tattoo community? And if so, what would that be?
Um, well, like the the tattoos that I love to see and do are the larger scale, back pieces, full front sleeves, full legs, whatever, right? But a lot of people do amazing work with them, but I think there's like for me, I love to see like a piece where you're actually using the body in a way of accentuating and bringing things out and coming out towards you with helping with perspective and all that kind of stuff. But if it's just like just one big cool image that's just on the back, like a big dragon or a big skull or just a tiger, whatever, big chrysanthemum, I love that stuff. To me, like those are pretty powerful tattoos. I've also found myself getting in the way of like you have such room, capabilities of doing so many things. So it's like you want to like throw in so many elements, but sometimes I gotta hold myself back to actually just have that nice big simplistic readable tattoo that you can see from across the street. I like that kind of stuff. I like having it on me too. So having clients or people that trying to push that a little bit more too, and they're like, yeah, but I want a dragon, tiger, snake. And I'm like, you're gonna get one of that.
Yeah.
Like, but then in showing the stuff I've had on my body too, and just like explaining them and just allowing them to see like what can be, I think is definitely important too. So again, that's coming to the having a good conversation, a consult with your client, right? So as much as like client comes in, they want to their tattoo, their idea, which of course it's a service industry, you want to do that, but also it's your responsibility to show them what can be. So to me, I've done so many tattoos where I'm like, I should have held back. I should have just done that one subject matter. Like, oh, you want a phoenix and a tiger? Well, if you have two empty sleeves, just do them on separate ones. Don't
Yep.
don't bring them together. So I think just big, bold, readable tattoos, I think is what I'm trying to push more towards, and what I want to see as well. So even like, actually, yeah, you were there, Puerto Rico. There was a guy who had a full bodysuit from Philip Blue.
My
It was
friend
just
Pete.
like, oh, is that him?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, it's just water and koi's.
Yep.
Fuck, like that's like a pretty extreme, look, outlook on that, which I appreciate that. I think that's awesome. But just to actually see and that unison flow and it's just awesome, man. It's almost speechless. But of
Yeah.
course, Philip Blue doing it, it's just like, oh, it's just that's what he does. It's amazing.
Yeah. To
Yeah.
me, one thing about that piece that I absolutely have been memorized by is the fact that even though you're looking at a three-dimensional human being and a two-dimensional image on a three-dimensional human being, the first thing that always gets me is the fact that you lose the sense that you're looking at a person, right?
Yeah.
You lose the concept that it's a human body and it just becomes this image.
Best thing he's using the body. He's using placements appropriately. It's not like crazy insane new things. It's just like it's almost like common sense. Like, oh yeah, that like that just needs to happen. Like, oh, that just makes sense. But the way that he does it just like flows and just it's so like, you can just turn around his whole body and it's just connecting. It has that same story all the way through. I think that's the shit I love. And I
Yeah.
think that's why when I saw that piece, I was like, fuck. This
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah.
Which I think he was actually at God's Inc. So
I wouldn't be surprised.
they got song there too.
I
But
would
again, there
not
was
be
like so much
surprised.
more Philip Blue pieces, and it was just like this is insane.
Yeah. So the first time I actually met him, I didn't even really know him. I met him at there was a small little gathering for seminars called the Needle Jig Meetup a couple years ago. Him and his wife Allie were there, and I was like, I've seen you before. And I went through my phone, and in 2017 at the London show, he was there. He had just gotten done the final session with Philip
Mm-hmm.
on, I forget if it was his front or his back, but it was like the final session that he had gotten done to complete his suit. And he was there in the middle of the aisle, just dropping trowel, showing off, and all that stuff. And I remember snapping some pictures of him in the middle of an aisle, just showing off this bodysuit that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I know you. I took pictures of you back before I even knew you years ago. And it was just always fascinating, the way that you see collectors around at different places, at different shows, showing off iconic work
Mm-hmm.
that, maybe. So I came up in the time of tattoo magazines,
Oh
and
yeah,
I still have some of them. And
I
like
still
I'll
got
be flipping through now and then, and I'm like, I've met that guy. I know exactly who that is. I have his phone number. Or you'll see something in person at a show that you've seen before and you forget where. And it's like, but I know I've seen that, but now I get to see it in person. And it's like,
it's like
all
a
right.
like you just found like a little treasure. Like, oh
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
I like that.
Um, I think one of the things that Philip also really does is he'll utilize three-dimensional space in a very different way than you see a lot of artists utilizing it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Pete's bodysuit, the koi fish. When you look at it, if you're looking straight forward at him, you see the one visual plane of the koi fish on his body. And as you move around him, you're still looking at the same fish, but you move around the fish and change your perspective on it. So that if you're looking straight on at his back, it's the same fish that was on his front, but it's now the opposite viewpoint from the other side of that fish.
Totally.
And when you see that, it doesn't necessarily always register right away,
Mm-hmm.
but as you continue to look at it, you're like, whoa, wait, what just happened? So the way that he's really capable of utilizing the whole human body to depict one, you were right in the fact that you said Pete's bodysuit is a little bit more on the extreme side of it because it is such a huge image.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I forget how big the lines are on that thing, but I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking huge, huge lines.
Mm-hmm.
And then these gorgeous crashing waveforms. Oh, it's gorgeous. But the fact that he was able to utilize in full three dimensions every major panel of the human body to create this 3D image that's viewed on all sides, to me was just a different way that I've ever seen stuff done.
Yeah, it's like
Uh,
rather than just painting on paper, right? He's sculpting, like he's
right.
molding it to the body. I think that's just awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, uh, that and his scale work, because when his arm is down, the scales look perfect. Everything matches up, everything reads well, everything flows well. If he lifts his arm, the scales still match up perfectly. They still flow perfectly. They still connect perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and anyone out there that's drawn scales, they can be a little tricky sometimes.
Of course.
There are certain tricks to them, but I've been drawing like nothing but dragons for over a year now.
Yeah,
I took
I've been watching. I've been seeing.
Yeah. Oh, I've got hundreds more that I have either just not gotten fully developed because I ran out of time, or it's like, okay, well, I'll put this aside. I'll come back to this eventually.
Hmm.
But I've been trying to really push that this year. Ever since Bill Canales, I took a seminar with Bill Canales last summer. He just got me on the hook for dragons, and
Well, his
uh,
dragons are amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't go wrong with the Bill Canales dragon. He was actually just in town teaching a dragon seminar over at Lost and Found
that's
with
right. Yeah.
Allie and Pete in New Jersey.
Huh.
I think they're doing that as a yearly thing now. I could be
I think I
wrong.
saw. Yeah, I think I saw that too. Like November is doing. Yeah, like almost like regular
Yeah,
sessions. Yeah.
which is awesome. I mean, I would really love to go back out there and take it again,
Hmm.
just as like a refresher course.
Yeah, and he's
Um,
definitely someone I'd love to get tattooed by as well. Just
oh
to
yeah,
actually see him draw on a dragon and just like, oh yeah, that's easy. Like just made that happen, eh?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and he makes it look so easy too. It's effortless, but when you've been
But same
drawing
when
them
you
for
but that's the thing like, when you've done something so many times, if it's that dragon skull, whatever, it's like you have it there's like a recipe or the first steps and then you can kind of tweak and go from there.
right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Which I think that's even just constant drawing, constantly just you know you, you just exercising your brain in a way of having a hanya, do it straight, whatever, trying to find all the different angles, see what's on the inside, like this, try to like think outside the box.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always fascinating, always inspiring. You know, just to see the way that different artists will take the same concept, but illustrate it, draw it, or depict it in such a completely different way
Hmm.
that most people have never ever seen before. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I just wanted to try something different." And it's like, "Yeah, but by doing that, you've completely changed the field. You've completely changed the way that certain people out there might be thinking about that subject matter.
Hmm.
Instead of having a dragon coming towards you, have one, flying away from you,
Totally.
you know? Yeah, shrinking back into the background, using perspective, using foreshortening.
But
Um,
that's James is doing a bunch of that lately, and I think it's just showcasing like what can be. I think that's pretty unreal.
yeah,
Uh,
and it just changes the way that people see things because they know that it's now possible to do that,
that's
because
true.
maybe they'd never seen that before. Maybe
Well,
they
I
don't
think
realize the
it's
concept.
also like it's a big risk, right? Like you're
Well,
kind of
it's a
going
huge
like
risk.
like you've never seen it. Is there a reason for it? I don't know, but fucking do it anyways.
Yeah. You never
Yeah.
know until you try, and maybe someone sees it and they like how different it is, and
Mm-hmm.
there you go.
Cool.
Um, it's always awesome just to see different ideas. That's why I love traveling so much. That's why I love getting different artists on this show, talk to them, pick their brains about things.
Mm-hmm.
It's always inspiring. To me, gives me the same kind of energy as if I were to go to a tattoo convention, where it kind of lights that fire under me as well, where it's like, okay, I just got to push a little harder, draw a little bit more, keep everything going, work a little bit harder on this, or try to work on this a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
It's always engaging and enlightening. And it always just helps give me that extra little nudge to maybe
Totally.
spend a little bit more time, even if it's 15 minutes in between appointments.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work on this.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
just going to see what's possible.
even like right now, like I guess summer in Canada is very short, so try to like relax as much as I can while still drawing, still doing art and stuff like that. But yeah, coming this weekend, I think I have 5 conventions I got to go to in the next month and a half. So I think like I've
Five
been like
conventions in
it's five.
6 weeks.
It's it's,
Wow.
it's insane. But no, I think I just relaxing now, chilling out because I know like once this hits off, it's just gonna be insane. But like I'm stoked for when it's done, not because I'm gonna be exhausted, but the fact that I'm gonna be like stoked and just to try and do new shit. I think it's always that feeling of leaving a convention or a really fun trip or stuff like that. I think it's just yeah, I love that feeling.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Well, we've pretty much run through all of the questions that I have. I'm not surprised at that, though. I mean, we always have really engaging, really good conversations, so
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't really surprise me. But yeah, um, hopefully, if you're beaming out on Thursday, which should be going down, hopefully,
Yeah.
I'll be able to tune into that. I
Sweet.
believe your time slot is going to fit perfectly for me.
It's like 4
So
o'clock. Yeah, I think it goes like, yeah, James Tex and Robin Roseworthy, then James Acro, Marcus, then me. I think that's how it
yeah,
goes. Yeah,
yeah,
we'll see what
yeah.
happens.
So we'll see. Hopefully, there's like a little chat box I can chat questions into.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't know I think Marcus is kind of setting all that up and taking care of it. I think a little bit, and Kaya Heitland. Uh, so I think I'm just going to be talking, and they're just going to have it running. I don't know.
yeah. Well, either way, anyone else that wants to jump in on that, once again, that will be a live broadcast on Thursday, live from the Winnipeg Tattoo Convention. Go to
Mhm.
their Instagram page. You can find the direct links to tune into that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but it's pretty much it, man. Really
Okay.
excited to see you at Paradise Gathering this year and then again at Puerto
Mhm.
Rico.
That's fun.
And it's going to be an absolutely amazing time as always.
Always,
Thank
man.
you. Thank you so much for coming on here and agreeing to do this again. I really, really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Um, yeah, and I'll probably send you a couple of follow up texts. Still have to shoot you that deposit as well, so I got to get
There we
on
go.
that.
Yeah,
So
Dragon back.
yes, big. I'm not a big guy, but we can go big.
So it was, yeah, pretty much everything what we just talked about. We're going
Yep,
big.
awesome.
Sweet.
That's what I love to hear, man.
Awesome,
Great.
buds.
Well, thank you so much for jumping in on this today. Really appreciate it. Yeah, hopefully we get you back on here again before we run into you at Paradise. If not, we'll
Yeah,
be sitting down. I'll have plenty of cameras set up to sit down, talk to you some more.
awesome, man.
Paradise Gathering in Massachusetts.
Let's do it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, man. Hope everyone enjoyed today's show. If you did, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button at the bottom of the page. If you didn't, well, tune in next week. It'll be a totally different show, and maybe you'll like that one. Yeah. But
Nice.
thanks a lot, everyone. Take care, and I'll see everyone next Monday at our regular time, which is noon here on the East Coast. Um, and I will see everyone then. Take care. Anthony, thank you again.